Did you know that being overly cluttered can be shockingly linked to narcissistic abuse? Have you ever felt like you couldn't get rid of things because you were too upset or overwhelmed by the amount of stuff you had? You're not the only one if you said yes. Being in a relationship with a narcissist hurts your emotions in more ways than one. This may sound strange at first. It can also show up in your real world. Abuse from a narcissist can make it hard to keep things in order because it can cause a lot of mental chaos. Today, we'll talk about how narcissistic abuse and too much stuff can be linked in ways you might not have thought, and how knowing this link could help you heal. Are you ready for the first one? Too much from causes. Going through your things can be more than just cleaning up. It could make you feel very upset. You might remember the abuse when you least expect it, when you start going through old things, leaving you feeling stressed and worn out. A simple thing like an old picture or a piece of clothes can remind you of painful times or the mental chaos you've been through. In her book, The Trauma Toolkit, therapist Dr. Laura Brown says that trauma is often stored in the places we live. Going through things can make you feel too strongly affected by your feelings to handle. With the emotional damage from narcissistic abuse still fresh in your mind, getting rid of junk can seem like an unending fight. It's important to be kind to yourself. It's okay to take breaks and deal with your feelings as they come up. There's no need to get rid of everything at once. It's fine to take small steps. Marie Forleo, a life coach, says, "Not being perfect is not the goal, move forward is. Start with a small, easy-to-handle area and think about how clearing that space will make you feel, even if it takes a while. It's not important to finish everything at once. It's about making a safe place for yourself to start healing. You can feel your feelings and work at your own pace. Every little step you take is a win in getting your life back from the emotional chaos the narcissist caused." Let's talk about the second one, excessive attachment to material things. When someone doesn't care about you, it makes you feel very empty inside. If you've been abused by a narcissist, you might try to fill the void with stuff by buying things, keeping things, and putting things around yourself. It's not because you care too much about things, because you want to calm down a part of yourself that hasn't been cared for in a long time. In the realm of hungry ghosts, author and therapist Dr. Gabor Mate talks about how when our mental needs aren't met, we often look to other people or things to make up for it. Those things may seem like a way to feel safe or in charge again, even if they're just piling up around you. The trouble is that nothing can really fill that space. The mess may not help ease your pain, but it may make you feel even more stressed. Don't be hard on yourself, though. It's a normal reaction to being hurt. The important thing is to stop focusing on things outside of yourself and start healing inside. Taking care of your mental and spiritual health is what life guide Cheryl Richardson says in her book, The Art of Extreme Self-Care. To begin, ask yourself, what do I need right now? It could be being kind to yourself, having a good cry, or talking to someone who gets it. Getting rid of junk is more than just making room in your home. It's about making room for the things that make your heart happy. Now we'll talk about number 3, perfectionism paralysis. Being too perfect can be like a sword with two edges. You want everything to be fine on one hand. Instead, you don't even start because you're afraid you won't get it right. This is known as perfectionism paralysis, and a lot of people who have been abused by a narcissist have it. It can be hard to meet your own high standards when someone is always putting you down or making you feel like nothing you do is ever good enough. You might ask yourself, why bother decluttering if I can't get it just right? In her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, Brené Brown says that perfectionism is not the same as trying to be the best. It's about wanting to be liked. All of those self-doubts and fears of failing are represented by that mess. It's even harder because the mess keeps reminding you of the thing you're trying to avoid, which makes you feel more stressed. But here's the thing, it's not necessary to be perfect when you clean up. There must be growth. James Clear writes in his book, Atomic Habits, that making small changes is the best way to make progress. Start with just one box or shelf instead of the whole house. Don't worry about making everything look like a Pinterest board. It's okay to be messy and make mistakes. Slowly but surely, each small victory will help you understand that growth, not perfection, is what really counts. Let's move on to number 4. Using clutter as a wall to keep things out. Putting things away that you don't need is like making a fortress with stacks of old clothes, unread mail, and other random things. When you've been abused by a narcissist, you may want to protect yourself from more pain. It's possible for clutter to unconsciously act as that wall, keeping you safe and separate from the outside world. In his book, Rethinking Narcissism, psychologist Dr. Craig Malkin says that when someone close to you hurts you, your brain's normal response is to protect itself. Putting up real walls to match the ones you've already made emotionally is sometimes the only way to do that. The tricky part is that this mess may feel like safety, but it can also hold you back. Things that make you feel alone can also make it harder to move forward. You're stuck in a maze you made for yourself, but seeing this pattern is very helpful. Remember that you can keep yourself safe, but you can also let some light in. Don't miss number 5, which is about getting control over mess. When things in your life feel out of hand, hanging on to things can seem like the only thing you can do. If you've been narcissistically abused and someone told you what to think, feel, or do, getting rid of junk can help you regain your power. It's your choice, even if it's just to keep an old magazine or a broken mug. That can feel strangely comfortable. In her book, Emotional Agility, psychologist Dr. Susan David talks about how people often make small, doable choices to feel more stable when they feel like they lacked control. It may look like your stuff is all over the place, but to you, it's a way of keeping control that you didn't have in your relationships. The problem is that this need to be in charge can go wrong. The piles can take over your life and cause more stress instead of comfort as they get bigger. It's like holding on too tight to a rope. It starts to hurt after a while. There is good news though, you don't need to let go at once. If you want to make room for things that really count, you don't need to lose power, you just need to change it. As time goes on, you'll realize that the real source of power is not the mess around you, but yourself. Are you still ready for number 6? Not sure who owns what. Even easy things like figuring out what's yours can be hard to do after being with a selfish abuser. You might not be sure about what you should keep, give away, or throw away when you're with a narcissist. They may have told you it was wrong to buy something, or made you feel bad for getting rid of things they used to say were important. This constant second-guessing makes you feel uncertain about your things over time. Beverly Engel, a psychotherapist, writes in her book, The Emotionally Abusive Relationship, that abusers blur the lines between what is acceptable and unacceptable so that their victims feel dependent and powerless. It's not that you might be afraid to clean up. When you get rid of something by accident, what will happen? It can be hard to let go of things when you don't know what will happen next. This is how waste forms. But let me tell you the truth, it's yours. You can choose what stays and what goes. Getting back this sense of control can help you heal a lot. In her book, Clear Your Clutter with Feng Shui, Karen Kingston says to start small. Pay attention to things that are obviously yours and show what kind of life you want to live. Sorting through your things does more than just make room for new things. It also frees you from the narcissist's power. Have faith in yourself. You can choose what feels right to you without anyone else's help. We've finally reached number 7, a fear of coming lack. It's easy to feel like you'll never have enough after being abused by a narcissist and going through it. Narcissists often use manipulation to get what they want, whether it's love, finances, or even things. They make you think that you need to hold on to things in order to stay alive, especially things that you own. You might start to hold on to things because you're afraid that if you get rid of them, you'll regret it or be left with nothing. This fear of not having enough in the future is a way for you to deal with the mental lack you've been through. In the Anxiety Toolkit, psychologist Dr. Bonnie Zucker says that when your sense of safety is broken, it's normal to hold on to what you have because you think it will keep you safe. But here's the thing, keeping everything you own because you're afraid of running out of it in the future can keep you stuck in the past and unable to move forward. In fact, things won't be able to fill the mental gaps left by the abuse.